Hey there, folks. This is Joel Traveler. I'm sitting here in my hotel room. It's Saturday morning. I had a delicious brunch at down the street. Denver's awesome. Had a great time last night. I am I've eaten well. Yeah. Um, cool city. Cool city. So what I was going to try to do today is figure out how to show you guys. Um, da, 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 da. Hold on, 2 seconds. Show you guys how to look at, or maybe be interested in looking at Tunguska. Now, everybody's talking about Tunguska right now. But you know what? I mean, I'm sure other people have talked about it, but I'm just going to talk about it. So one of the things about Tunguska that's really interesting, and I'm not live streaming my video because I can't figure it out. So there's that. I don't know what to say. Anyway, I got a new computer and it doesn't have any of my old software on it, so I'm having a hard time reloading everything, getting everything squared away. Anyway, I'm just going to give you some initial thoughts about Tunguska. Okay, first of all, Tunguska is an interesting faction. It has a couple of some people are like, "Oh man, it's so powerful, dude! It's so gnarly." I don't know. I think it's a really well. I think it's a great sectorial. I think it has a lot of internal balance, and that internal balance primarily comes from the fact that it has some really powerful options, some really cool options. It's got some really cool and diverse link teams, and it has, and it's got some really powerful super solos, which is awesome. The weaknesses, though, and there are several weaknesses to TJC, is that Tunguska has something I call OLS. All right, obvious lieutenant syndrome. You have 3 real options for lieutenants in the sectorial. You've got a 13-point Securitate, you've got a 20-some-odd point Grenzer, and you've got a Krizaborg. So, and there is one more. I'll have to go over to it, take a look. Yeah, somebody else is in there. Oh, interventors. Right, and interventors are good choices. What's interesting about each one of those is that aside from the Securitate and maybe a smaller potential, the Grenzer, you can't, hiding and spamming your lieutenants is a lot more challenging in Tunguska. You're going to pay 26 points if you want 2 mirror Securitates on opposite end of the board, hiding on rooftops if you want to do that, or in a link team so they can't get smashed out. One of the strengths of Securitates, though, is that they have veteran level 1, so everyone who's afraid of Emily and Drew's can be a little less afraid. Still be afraid of Emily, though, because she's got regular grenades, too. So you can pay 26 points for that. Or for a Grenzer, Grenzer Lieutenant is 25 points, so almost the same points. And he's a really combat rifle, light flamethrower, breaker pistol, and a regular pistol for some reason. And he doesn't do anything, and that kind of sucks. It'd be great if he had the sensor one. That would be really cool. And then you've got Kriza. Well, of course, you've got Kriza. And Kriza Lieutenants, the problems with Kriza Lieutenants, they are tough to kill. That's true. But they are going to be your opponent's #1 target. So they're going to gun for him. You're going to go swoop in, try to get the guy in close combat where he's fine. He's an 18. But you get him in close combat with a close combat monster, somebody with MA3, he'll eventually go down. Probably. So he's going to be a big target. So in lieutenant hunting is really a big deal. One of the other things that's really interesting about Tunguska is as one of the high tech factions, it suffers from warband vulnerabilities. Not only does it not have MSV2, which is absolutely essential for warbands because most of them have smoke, and being able to protect yourself against that is really important. But their area denial weaponry is primarily in the form of either a jammer, which if you jam an extreme impetuous warband model, he just can't hurt you that turn. He still gets his irregular order in the following turn, and he still gets his extreme impetuous order. So he's still working off of 2 orders. So it's not that big of a deal. The other thing that you have, is you have Crazy Koalas. And Crazy Koalas, unfortunately, don't provide any negatives to dodge. So your warbands are dodging on 13s and above, generally. So that's not fantastic either from a point defense standpoint. Crazy Koalas are fantastic at just kind of scaring your opponent. They're fantastic at protecting your backfield line against link teams, because you can hit the non-active member, and that's always fun. Or against Van Zandt, because it's always fun to take an unmitigated shot at that guy. Then that kind of thing. And they don't have... I'm swapping back and forth here, and I apologize. Come here, buddy. You have Mind Layer, but it's the Puppet Tactica. You only get one of them, and that's what you get. You get one Mind. So that's what you are left to, and that's not a lot. So between not having Spectres have minds, but they need to see what they're doing, and be able to draw a line of fire to ARO with a mind drop, and then you're risking a 35-point model against a 6-point model, you still run into the same problems. One of the things that's interesting about TJC is it's so technologically dependent that it has this glaring weakness to warbands. So you've got CHA is going to make it really hard for these guys to get work done. Yeah, Ariadna is like the bane of TJC. It's just really hard for them. I can see this being a total pain in the ass. Yeah, TJC also is an elite faction, so its third real weakness is having to pay a lot of points for things. It doesn't have 3 transductors ons like a lot of us thought it was going to have. It doesn't have 2 reactions ons, oddly enough. And it's only got 1 meteor Zond. I think we all had anticipated some more on the Zond front, but it seems like they still have a small access to Zonds. Not cool. So, yeah, they really do suffer from some of those. They suffer from Ariadna, they suffer from warbands, and they suffer from having really obvious lieutenants. It would be easy to put these guys in no chain of command. So it would be easy to put these guys in Lost Lieutenant turn 1. Easy is always subjective. I understand. Cut it out. So, but there would be fewer challenges against other armies. Yeah, like Toha, the chain of command over the board, even though you know who the lieutenant is. Yeah. So this, in a lot of ways, maybe is kind of similar to Assassins and Bakunin. The thing with both of those is that your assassination potential is really a lot higher with those factions. So this one, you're going to have to move up and really do. You're going to want to. I think you're going to want to go first. I think in a lot of ways you're going to want to go first with Tunguska, unless you have set up a decent ARO net. If you are going against any kind of Ariadna army, I think you're going to want to go first every single time. You're going to want to try to censor them out. If Usha shows up, you're going to want to be able to face the flamethrowers on your terms. All that stuff's going to be really important. There are really cool, a really cool unit. So, we'll talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to take forever today. But Raoul Spectre's there. The biggest thing, I think, is link team flexibility is just one of the main strengths of this army. You've got Raoul Spectre, who counts as Securitate. And I love the way they wrote this rule. They called it, counts as a Securitate. Count as X model for link team composition. They did the same thing for, not Luna. Oh, shoot. What's her name in Assassins for Gulam Infantry? Oh, well, you know what I'm talking about. So they put that effort in there. It makes it so much easier that you got Raul, you got Perseus, both those guys. They get a buddy team together. You can pick. I'm going to paint an IR with a double viral pistols as Raul Spectre because I saw somebody do that today, and that was really cool. And then I'm going to pick Akmon with double pistols for Perseus because Perseus has double pistols, and that way it's like a buddy cop movie. And you can put them in a Securitate link, throw in a Grenzer for sensor, Forward Observer with sensor. Now you have a really self-contained little unit. It's going to cost you about 130, 135 points. You can mix in Feuerbachs and HMGs. A linked Feuerbach on a BS-12 model is fantastic. It's really, really cool. Yeah, I wish you could put an Interventor in there, and then you'd have like one. You didn't even have to put a Securitate. You can make it a Securitate link with Grenzers and everybody else. It would be really, really cool. Anyway, I think that link is probably one of my favorite links in this. The other one that I really like is I really like Hollow-Men. I think Hollow-Men are awesome. I think that, if you're going to play Bakunin or you're going to play Tunguska, I think really the question is, do you want to be aggressive or do you want to be do you want to have a better defense? So or Starco, I suppose. A Riot Girl 5-man or 4-man 5 lady link is an extremely defensive piece. It's fantastic. You're going to ignore, surprise shot. You're going to know camo. You're going to be on good odds. You're going to be hitting on 16s. That's fantastic. Hollow-Men are that extra armor. Arm 4s when stuff starts to get really, you start to feel strong. Okay, I've only got a 40% chance of failing this combat rifle shot. Decent. You know what I mean? Or 35% chance. 40%, yeah. Anyway, so that stuff's good. You've got, but they're that's heavy infantry with remote presence, so they get 2 unconscious levels, and you can bring it back. They go prone, unlike robots, so they can't just get destroyed out of hand. They bounce around. You can drop their price tag by bringing a Stempler, which I think is almost always a good way to go, because the Stempler, you get climbing plus, so it's like this little spider bot of a specialist that gets to run around, jumping on the sides of walls. If you have an intervention lieutenant, which makes sense thematically, you buff him up. He's got a repeater. You can, kill hack through that. You can put an assault hacker in that link team. If you've got Evo support, you can give them or become organic with Tinbot for the assault hacker, which is a solo piece, is fantastic. I think Hollow-Men are really cool. BS-13. Everybody seems to be getting BS-13 now. I don't know what it is. CB's like, ooh, we got to tone back this BS-14 BS. But they're doing it. Other cool thing I think is funny. You get 2 Salamanders if you want. And I've written some lists with 2 Salamanders because there's nothing funnier than putting down a Salamandra or putting down a big, heavy, ass kick and tag and have people get really prepared for it. And okay, I've got this all set up. And then across the board on the other side, you put another equally badass tag and say, yeah, bro, this is going to be a tough day. And it's going to be. I think that's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah. You've got hecklers, which, profile got released. Hecklers are not broken at all. If you think they're broken, you're wrong. Simple. They are 23 points for that jammer. Comes with a fast panda, 4 deployment level 1. They're a little bit pricier. Their skirmish levels, they're as much as 0s. The boarding shotgun Emerat one, which is a really cool profile. But my problem with hecklers is I love, their availability 3, and I love 3 of the profiles. I think the killer hacking device one is fine. Evidently, I'm not thrilled by it. It's a combat rifle, assault pistol, Cybermine. Cybermines, I think, are probably one of the most situational pieces of war gear in the game. I think they really suffer. I think you will go 1 out of 10 games using that stuff, and I think that's it. But otherwise, man, even the Red Fury one, which I don't think people are really paying attention to, the Red Fury guy, man, he just gets to run around with his little mimetism. He can get 1 surprise shot off, I've really fallen in love with the Red Fury. I think it's a fantastic piece of kit. He's got good ballistic skill. You know, he's going to be quick. He can just start sniping people. The other cool thing is those camo markers, people are going to assume they're the jammer. So when a Red Fury pops out turn 2 or 3, because you've had the tactical patience to wait and get some great utility out of him, yep, all of a sudden that Red Fury comes blazing in the midfield, killing specialists, not caring, and that's awesome. Let's see, what else? The changes to Stempler are just so cool. It's just so thematic. I love, the flexibility. Essentially, it's like a cheaper Brando Castro with more toolbox kit. I mean, it's really cool. I like the Zyklon's got some little tiny buff, right? They just get forward deployment level 1. But all of a sudden, that Spitfire, like, oh, cool. So I'm 1 order away from being in good range bands now instead of 2 orders from being in good range bands. That's cool. Yeah, and that's rad. Spectre's got a KHD. That's fine. That's fine. Whatever. You pay 20 points for an Interventor KHD instead. Or you can bring meine favorite hacker in the game. And that's Mary Problems, a tactical Uber hacker whose motto is Haktung, baby, which, for those of you who know German, understand the play on words there. Mary's got both assault hacking device and killer hacking device, BTS of 6, climbing plus, ODD, hyperdynamics level 1, pushing her up to a 13 base, a whip of 14, and a fine BS of 11, all for 0.5 SWC and 30 points. She's got a pitcher, she's got a zapper, which is an EM2, which is like an EM2 like flamethrower, really cool, and she gets forward deployment level 1, and a submachine gun. She can get wherever you need her to go, and she can get up there and do stuff, and she can hold an objective. She can go into suppressive fire, sitting into, when you play into those missions where you've got to control an antenna in the middle of the board, that antenna happens to be on top of a building, she'll just climb right on up there and just sit there with ODD. Here's a cool trick, all right? So you have Mary Problems, right? We know how she goes. You have Mary Problems. She's got that pitcher. Get that pitcher in a position, like toss that pitcher out someplace where nobody can really see it without a ton of work. Okay, you put her onto an objective. Put her in suppress fire. Okay, if he's got some MSV2 that he tries to bring to bear on that, if you've set it up right, you can have your Interventor HD Plus ARO anywhere in his hacking zone, which should be pretty spread out in this game, or with this army. He can ARO with white noise anywhere in his hacking zone, which means he can drop a white noise zone right on top of Mary Problems in ARO. That's cool. Now you've really got to work. You better be able to get through -12s to get to her. I think that's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. So just little cool things like that. Raoul Spectre is a boss. Raoul Spectre is a boss in Starco, where he can join a 3-man team. Harris, I mean, that's cool. It's really like this little light infantry guy. You put him in a 5-man link team, and suddenly he's boss. Mimetism and a 5-man link is always good. Where he gets, he can be throwing drop bears all over the place. Really, with a lot of ease. That multi-rifle is fantastic. He can move up the board, really get into some close combat. It's cool. Perseus, you've got smoke, ODD, and he's got a breaker combi rifle with a 5-man link. Yeah, he's BS 13, so you're BS 16 base. Even if you're bad range bands and cover, you're now 4 dice on 10s, and you're giving ODD and cover. So you'd be -9ing your opponent. So there's, yeah, even going against like an HMG. Let's say you go against an HMG, right? So it's probably a BS 13 base, +3 for range, -3 for cover. Yeah, you've got 3 shots on 10, and he's got 1 shot on. Yeah, it's 13 base, -6, 1 shot on 7. So that's good odds. And he can really do some work. And he has NWI. He's 34 points. I know a lot of I know a lot of Steel Phalanx people who are actually upset that he's not more expensive. So whatever. Whatever. And a 5-man link too. It's something amazing for Myrmidons. So anyway, I think he's legit. So a lot of that stuff's really fun. And then you get stuff, you know, like, I mean, you get Lunicods, dude. Here's a little secret or a little tactic. If you know that you're going to play a Aleph player or a combined army player, bring a Lunicod. Why, Joel? Well, Lunicods have several things that both of those armies hate. They have repeaters, okay? They have heavy shotguns, which can help negate ODD. You can buff them with marksmanship, which is also fantastic. They have both a heavy shotgun and a flamethrower, which is the one you should probably pick. The acrylic cannon, I mean, it's just so, I wouldn't take that. I did it one time. I don't know. I miss the heavy flamethrower a lot. So that heavy flamethrower allows you to move around onto, let's say, a bunch of Myrmidons, and you know, they have to make a choice. They're going to dodge the heavy flamethrower, or they're going to try to dodge the heavy shotgun. Heavy shotgun, now you're on pretty equal dice chances, okay? And either one is shock when you buff it up. So that's cool. The Lunicod also, and this is really important why I said to bring against both combined army, except Morons. Don't bring these guys against Morons. I mean, they're fine, but really, to use this trick, put the Lunicod in the second combat group, which is everybody's generally smaller combat group, and use Minesweeper. Take away their AI beacons and their Imitrons. Really funny. Really funny. And they try to hide them, but you don't care because you have a 6'4" climbing plus dude who just like runs around, dropping off little crazy koalas. Just do it. You'll appreciate it. It's hilarious. I just lost a Comstat game literally by a minesweeped Imatron that went off target and it landed into a scoring zone. And he swept it. And I was like, you know what? That was really cool. I forget that I never use that. So anyway, it's in my mind. I would recommend giving it a shot. Overall, I think there's a lot of options. I think I'm not even talking about Puppet Tacticas because those are really cool, really bananas. I think limited insertion Tunguska lists sound like a lot of fun. And I think in general, you know, these guys are going to be very similar to Onyx. I think you're going to get a lot of buy-in early. I think they're going to be a lot more challenging than people think they're going to be. And I think people are then, I think in about 6 months, people are going to start getting rid of it and move on to something else, especially with the releases that are coming out for the rest of this year and next year. So that's what I think. But it still looks badass, just like Onyx. And I brought Onyx here to Denver too, because I'm not very good with them. And I'm trying to get better. So that's fun. But I think we're going to talk about vanilla real quick. In that, vanilla got way better with this release. Picking and choosing what they want. A lot of people are talking about the death of the vanilla armies because sectorials are so powerful. What you can do, I just counted, I think it's like 53 profiles for nomads right now. 53 profiles. So you can make, and with vanilla nomads, you can do anything. You could literally, I mean, there's almost anything you can do. So, yeah. Did vanilla win? Yes. Yes, vanilla won. Puppet Tacticas and vanilla, I think, are really badass. I think they're fantastic. Being able to use counterintelligence is fantastic skill. It's just a little nudge. It's cheap. It's so cheap. And it's game altering. It's really cool. So I think vanilla got a huge buff. And to all you vanilla nomad players out there, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you guys are having a great time. And I know this is a little late and other people have done it, but I don't care because I've got time on my hands. All right, cats. Great talking to you all. And once I get my new studio up and running, our other one is gone. But the next one is being built. Every Little War has got a studio in their new facility. And yeah, you guys will see more of me in a more professional setting, although I love being able to talk in a hotel room. Because it lets me feel like I'm actually talking to somebody instead of watching TV. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Anything else, hit me up. Thanks.